All right. What's up, everyone? Round two of our athlete interviews. My name's Jeff Moran. I'm the CMO at the Jackson Hole Ski and Snowboard Club. And I am here with one of our longtime club athletes, current FIS athlete, and Sophia Tozzi, as you can see her name there on the screen. But yeah, so I'm going to let her introduce herself. Sophia, why don't you tell us your name, the team that you're training with at the ski club, what that's all about, and a little bit about your history with the ski and snowboard club.
So my name's Sophia. I've been in the ski club since I think I was about 8, so a long time. And I actually started out also as a Nordic athlete, but eventually made it just to alpine skiing. And I'm with the FIS team, so I train almost every day. I'm not a PG yet this year because I still go to school, but I ski almost as much as they do. So
Nice. And so, are you planning? You're a senior in high school, is that correct?
yeah.
So, are you planning next year to do a PG year with the club?
I'm not fully sure yet on my plans for next year, but if I do PG, it will definitely be with the ski club.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad to know we're not losing you just yet, possibly.
Yeah.
So you just got off a pretty cool trip, right?
Yeah.
You're back in Jackson, but why don't you tell us where were you and who were you with? What were you doing?
So I just got back from a 3.5 week trip to Europe with the National Development Group. There was 6 girls, and we were kind of working along with the D team as well. And we went back and forth between Austria and Italy. And it was kind of just a competition trip. So we raced, I think we had about 9 starts, and then we trained a few days in where we could. But yeah.
And so, did you cross paths with Oliver Perizet while you were over there? I know he was just in Europe.
Yeah, we actually raced together for 2 days in Italy. We saw each other.
Oh, that's cool. Was that was I mean, because you and Oliver know each other, was that fun to see a familiar face all the way over in Italy?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because when he left, we both knew that we were going over there, and he was like, "Oh, I'll probably see you over there," and I was like, "There's no way I'll see you. Like, Italy's so big, we're definitely not going to cross paths." And then we ended up seeing each other in Italy,
Uh,
so that was fun.
nice. So it wasn't planned ahead.
Yeah.
And was this your first time in Europe ski racing with the development team?
I've been over there. I went over there last fall to train, but I've never actually raced, so this was my first time racing, which was cool.
Nice. Okay, so what any differences? What was your experience racing in Europe compared to racing in the US?
I would say it's like very different. One of the big things that was like super eye opening was like the field sizes and how much more competitive the field sizes are. So over here, it's probably depending on like which race you go to, it can be anywhere from like 30 to 40 super like competitive field, but over there it's anywhere it's like can be the whole field, which can be like 100 or like 70. So that was super cool to race with a ton of girls that were super good. And then another thing that's just very different over there is like when they get in the like gate to go, they like go. And I would say that that's kind of similar to over here, but I think like it's a lot more competitive over there. They have a lot more to like get to because there's like so many more of them. Meaning like the same would be the same equivalent as like getting on the US ski team. So it's like more competitive. And they all just like really love doing it, and it's a lot more a bigger part of their culture than it is over here. So
Hmm.
like everywhere you go, it's ski racing, which is really cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's what Oliver was saying as well. Like the whole like everywhere you go, like the culture is surrounds ski racing. So,
Yeah.
how were the competitions? You said you had 9 starts. Did you go over there with certain goals as far as your racing and where you hope to end up in the field, and how did that pan out?
I think my biggest goal going over there was kind of just to see what it was like, see the other side of like how they do it. And yeah, I definitely didn't really have any expectations for racing just because I never had raced over there and I didn't really know what it was going to be like. And I think that helped me with my skiing overall because I just didn't really have any expectations for myself other than to like hopefully ski fast. I had a few good races. It was definitely really hard, but it was overall pretty good.
So you're happy with your overall results from the trip?
Yeah, it was good.
Good, good. Was there something about traveling in Europe and ski racing in Europe that you learned that you didn't like, that was a total surprise to you? Was there something that you were like, whoa, this component of what I'm doing really is surprising or stands out?
Um, I don't really think so. It was a lot of moving around over there, and we obviously have a lot of stuff. So that was kind of something that like stuck out to me even more, is like just being organized and like having your stuff together. Because I feel like when we go to races over here, it's like you're there for 3 or 4 days and then you just come home. But there, it's like back to back, so you have to be really organized. That was one thing that stuck out to me. But yeah, I think other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Nice. You got to make sure you don't leave your boots at the last hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Things like that. How many people were you traveling with? How big was your group?
My direct group there was 6 girls and we had 3 coaches. But then we also worked with the D team, and there's kind of girls circulating in and out depending on which races we were at. So they had 3 coaches or 3 or 4 coaches, and then some of them had private coaches depending on who was there. So it was a good group size. It was small.
Okay, that sounds pretty manageable. And so, how did you end up in this group? Like, how were you selected, or how did you become a part of the development group and be invited on this trip?
To be honest, I'm not really sure how the national development group works. But I think it's just like a group of some of the top girls in the country. And then I went to a bigger one in the fall in Copper, and there was, I think, like 20 of us. And then I think just from early season results, they chose a group of us to go over there. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure how the boards and stuff work for that, but
So, was it something you were working towards, or did you just get a call one day and they said, "Hey, we want you to come to Europe with us," and it was out of the blue?
yeah, I was out actually backcountry skiing with my dad, and I got a text from Seppi that's like, "You're invited to Europe. Like, do you want to go? I think it'd be a great experience." And at the time, they had no idea like any travel plans or anything, because they were basically just asking girls to see who would be interested, or asking the group of girls to see who would be interested. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then within like a week, they had a rough schedule, which ended up changing like 100 times. But
Right.
yeah, it was pretty last minute. It was within like 2 weeks of when we left.
Wow, that's cool. That must have been a fun phone call to get.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, what was your favorite part about just traveling in Europe? I know that I'm sure the ski racing was an awesome part, and meeting people. But what was your favorite part about traveling in Europe? And then also, what was your least favorite part about traveling in Europe?
I think my favorite part is just like being over there. Everything's so close and so like also so pretty. Like going in between Austria and Italy, just like the mountains and everything is so cool. I was telling my mom too that like driving from town to town, like if it's like a 4 hour drive, it really only feels like an hour, because everything goes by so fast. There's so much to look at, and that's just so cool. Like being over there and traveling. I think my least favorite part, as I said earlier, there's a lot of stuff to manage and kind of like getting all that around, and make sure that every time you leave, you have like all your ski bags, all your skis, everything you started with. And then also this year with like COVID, it was just kind of annoying to have to wear your mask all the time in a car. Like if it is a 4 hour car ride, like wearing your mask for that long is not the best. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I think like, yeah, it's just fun driving over there and seeing all the different places.
Sounds like there were some pretty strict protocols in place, though, to make sure everybody was staying safe and wearing their masks and keeping one another COVID free.
Yeah, it was definitely really strict, just because of like all the rules too of now having to like get back into the U.S. with a negative test. So we wanted to make sure that we all stayed healthy over there. But we tested every 3 days, and then we were kind of in our own bubble. Always had to wear masks and stuff. So
Good. Well, that's good to hear, and everybody stayed healthy, I hope.
yeah, everyone survived.
Good, good. Did you have a favorite food that you either knew you were going back to Europe and you wanted to try, or something new that you experienced on this trip?
I mean, schnitzel is always a good one. That's like one of the favorites. But then in Italy, the pasta is also so good.
Nice. Yeah, Oliver said schnitzel was his favorite as well. I think that's probably a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who doesn't like fried breaded veal or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Well, do you have any sponsors that are supporting you these days?
Yeah, right now I'm currently on the sync team, so they help out with kind of gear, like race suit and stuff. And then I'm also sponsored by Rossi for skis and Swix for poles and like tuning stuff. Yeah.
That's nice. Helps with the travel expenses. Put a little more money towards the stuff that's important and not have to worry as much about gear.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so having been with the club for, I think you said since you were 8, you're 17 now, so that's about what, 9 years or so. You've come up through the ranks at the Jackson Hole Ski and Snowboard Club. You were once one of the Groms that were, had their goal, their mind set on wanting to be like an elite racer with the club and recognized nationally and even internationally. Now you're there. You're traveling internationally, racing all over the place. What words of encouragement or advice would you have for our younger racers who are going to see this and want to be in your spot, in the next 8 to 10 years?
I would just say for like really, really young athletes, I would say just like keep having fun. It's because like when you're that young, like I think it should be all about fun, and like you should definitely have goals that you want to work towards, but just have fun. And then as you kind of get older, it can get really frustrating. Like skiing is definitely really hard, and sometimes it kind of sucks. But like just trusting the process and like just giving yourself goals and working really hard. Yeah, if you work hard and you really want it and you really like it, then stuff will happen. So I would just say, yeah, stick with it, and also just make sure you still like it. As I know a lot of people, if you get that far, do. But yeah, just have fun and work hard, and stuff will come.
Good words right there. The have fun seems to be a common response to advice that everybody gives. So that's good to know. Are you still having fun?
Yes.
Good.
I don't think I'd be doing it if I didn't have fun.
Perfect. So what disciplines are you focusing on?
I kind of like to do all disciplines. I do get a little scared for speed, but I still try and do it. It's fun. But yeah, when I was over there, I mostly focused on tech.
Cool. All right, Sophia. Well, before we wrap up, are there anyone you want to give a shout out to that's helped you get to Europe and back and supported you on this path?
My parents, it's a big one. My coaches from here too have shown a lot of support, and yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sophia Tozzi, we're also proud of you here at the Jackson Hole Ski and Snowboard Club, and congrats on these big successes. Very cool that you're traveling all over the world and getting to race, and we're excited to see where this takes you. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.